Hello, and welcome to the market recap of thevolumetrader.com. This is a recap of June 18th, 2009 of our trades. If you're not familiar with us, what we look at is volume. When price is making a new high, we're looking for sellers or to see if they're coming in, or we're looking for and see if the buyers are drying up. Same way if when price is going down, we're looking for are the sellers drying up and are the buyers coming in? So we trade volume, and that's all we trade. We do have some support and resistance lines, as you can see on this chart, that we do trade off of. We use as targets, more than anything. We don't take trades just because they're at that line or whatever else. Although trades at the line are, uh, a little bit more conservative or a better trade. Um, the market opened up here, then just right below this resistance line. Took a bounce to the downside. Then this right here, which is at 903.75, I believe. Let me check the price here, the low of this. Anyway, I believe that's 903.75 was the low of the day. Then we had a nice kick up. As you can see, we kind of stalled around our resistance line right here. Okay. Then we stalled at the resistance line up here. Okay. At that stall, the buyer started drying up. Or what happens here a lot of times is there's profit taken at these known resistance lines. So there's these sellers that came in to take profit, or the buyers sold to take profit. Then on the next move up, we noticed the buyer did not step back in. All right, so we got short here. We got short. This is our first trade of the day at 19:15.25. Okay, then kind of stalled up here at this resistance line before finally breaking. Okay, at the break, we once we get a pivot below our initial entry, we start trailing our stops. So we had a down bar here, okay, that came back up to here, then starting making, then when it took out this low right here, then we moved our stop one tick above here, which was right at break even, okay, and we continued to follow that all the way down, or until we hit a target area, and our target area happened to be at right here at 912. Okay, so that was a 3 1/4 profit, and so we was up 3 1/4 on the day. Then we turned around and the sellers quit here, and the buyers started back up, but this trade came down and ticked us out right to the tick. Let me blow this up here just a little bit. Okay, so this was our buy order from this short. Then here was our entry. Then our stop is one tick below the low here. This is our, so then we got stopped out on this for -1 1/4. So at that time we were up, wow, sorry about that. We were up 2 points on the day, okay? But we knew that the buyer was stepping in here and the sellers had quit. So right after we got stopped out, it gave us another entry on this bar here. Okay, so we got long at 911.75. All right, and we took that trade all the way up to back to this resistance line. Okay, that if you remember right, it stalled price here and we got short. Okay, so we took that back all the way up to the resistance line and got out just short of that at for 2.5 points. So now we're up with this loss here. We're up 4.75 on the day. Okay. All right. So it made another move back up. Okay. Then the seller stepped in, or profit taking came. Then on the next swing back up of test of this high and also this high over here, we noticed more sellers coming back in. All right. So we got short on this bar, but then the buyers just turned around and started buying it up through back through this resistance line. So not only did we have the resistance line to help us to the downside, and not only did the seller start stepping in here, but this trade still did not work. And so we were a loser on that. So with that loser in there, now we're up 3.25 points on the day. And now the price significantly broke above that known our known resistance line there. Okay. Then at that time, we seen when it made this high here, we seen the seller and the buyer really start coming off the pedal. Okay, and the seller starting to come back in. So we were, we only take a short or a long if it retests the high or the low. So in this case, we wanted to retest this high, and it never did. It came a couple ticks short, and we we knew it was going to be a pretty good short. And not only did it get back to this resistance line, which we've been looking at a target, it kept going on right through it. So trade we didn't get because it didn't set up properly for us. Okay. So we're 2-2 on the day after this loss. So we're continuing on here. All right. So now we had a push down here and a push back up to the resistance line. Okay. So the sellers were here. The buyers stepped in hard. Okay. Then once the buyers stepped back in, then price just kind of drifted on low volume. So at that time, we're now immediately looking to get long. All right. So we got long here. Sorry, I didn't. This was on a different account. We got long right here at 13.25 and rode this thing up. It came up and hit resistance. Okay, kind of came back to us a little bit here. Our stop was still below the low of the day. We're looking for, for this thing to continue because the buyer stepped on the pedal here, drifted back on small volume, and actually some of these bars actually had more buyers than sellers even though it went down. So then at that point, we're patient here with this trade, knowing that this is a resistance line, but we're trading up through it, and it looked like it was going to break it, no problem, and it did, and it went up and tested the high of the day. Okay, so when we're in this trade, we immediately start trailing our stops. So it came up and made this, came down. So our first stop was one tick below that. Okay, then once it made a new high again, which was right here, all right, then we move our stop one tick below this low. Okay, made a new high, had a retracement, made a new high again. At that point, we move our stop one tick below that one. Our target was way up here, a couple ticks below this resistance line. Okay, which was these lines here was the high of the day. All right, so it was a couple ticks above the high of the day and a couple ticks above or below that resistance line. So that was where our target was, but we didn't want the trade to come right back to us. So we're trailing our stops on up. Once we made another high, here was then once we made another high again, we trailed our stops one more time. It came back, made another high. We trail our stop again. And at that point, we know that we're in that 13.25. Okay, the worst we're going to do, this is at 9.15, was 1.75 on the trade, but we were looking for 5.25 up here to this resistance line. All right, and so that's what happened. It came back, stopped us out, and we made 1.75. So we were up 5 points on the day, and this is our final trade. We were 3-2 today, 3 winners, 2 losers, and you can see here it was a great stop. Once it took that out, then it just kept heading lower to right here where price is at the close of the day. All right, if you have any questions, please send them to info at thevolumetrader.com. Thanks for listening.